It's Roundtable time.
Camelot. It's only a model.
Two of our favorites, returning champions, both. Everybody except one person is a returning champion when we do this. We have Randy Slack from ESPN Wilmington and Pat Welter from WRAL TV5 Sports. Let's have some fun first. Gentlemen, thank you very much for carving out part of your very important Friday afternoon for this drivel.
I literally had nothing else to do. Thank you.
Excellent.
Great to be here.
Try to beat that, Pat.
Yeah, I am. I'm reeling in the years over here.
Very
I'm
nice.
Feeling old. I'm feeling cold right now, but I'm excited. This will wake me up and get me going for Friday of high school football after this. So I'm good to go.
That is true. We are in the second round of the football state championship games, and shouts to the 8 schools that will converge on Union County for the 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A, although I think the 3A boys soccer is tonight in down near Charolette, and the other 3 are tomorrow. So I have some kids on my son's club team play at Wakefield, or former teammates play on Wakefield. So good luck to Wakefield in the state championships. All right, the soccer stuff is over. I don't think we're going to get to soccer unless both of you are Manchester United fans, in which case we can make fun of the Red Devils. Let's start with, and I'll start with you, Randy. Panthers, Chiefs. Sell me the possibility that Carolina shocks the world. Sell it to me.
Well, I mean, it's been an internet meme for a few weeks now. Unfortunately, the Bills kind of ruined it for us. But here's the energy we're getting from the Carolina Panthers. First of all, their field looks awesome for this weekend. Second of all, because it's the Panthers, the NFL's not going to have it in the bag to have the good referees that always win the games for the Chiefs, so that's good. And really, for the Panthers, they haven't lost a game in almost a month. And this game is going to have, like, first-round March Madness energy where, like, the 15 seed is up at the half or it's close at the half, and then everybody just kind of comes together and just immediately starts rooting for them. That's the vibe we're going to get this weekend for the Panthers. Now, what we're going to do with, the last possession or two when they only have one timeout left and they're kind of scrambling to get the ball in bounds, we'll see. But I think this could be a really fun game on Sunday.
I appreciate. I thought you would have gone UMBC on this if you were going to bring up the NCAA tournament. Also, before I flip this to Pat, I am curious. Doesn't the field look the same all the time?
I don't know. Like, the shading looks cool and the graphics and it looks nice. It looks good. It looks fine, Matt.
Okay. It's okay. I hate with a white hot passion fake grass. Hate it.
Yeah.
But but maybe it does look good. All right, Pat, can you sell a Panthers win here?
Well, I'm going to have to reach deep into my bag of tricks here from my days as a computer salesman, but I'll sell you on this at least. Yeah, Apple Store. What's up?
Excellent.
I think back to a game when the Chiefs played the Raiders last year, a game that nobody thought the Raiders could win, and somehow they did. And the Chiefs have kind of flirted with disaster here week after week after week. We saw them finally lose to the Bills last week. Maybe a little bit more regression to the mean is on the way. I mean, if you're going to overlook any team in the NFL, it's the one with the smallest quarterback in Bryce Young. And if there's a possibility here, I certainly wouldn't be taking it. But look, hey, they got a coach fired in New Orleans. They got a quarterback benched in Daniel Jones. What could happen here? Who knows?
They got a quarterback released in Daniel Jones, and it's going to get me to the follow-up on that. Look, the Chiefs have played with their food all year long. Now, for the most part, Kansas City's schedule has been pretty tough. Like, they have done their work and getting to 9-0 really against, almost every team has been a good team that they have played. So it's even more impressive that they could have been so ordinary and still be 9-0. It was going to happen. Buffalo isn't ordinary. Playing in Buffalo isn't normal. So there were a lot of things. I'm just, you know what a raucous atmosphere it is at Bank of America Stadium, how difficult opposing teams find it at Bank of America Stadium, especially. Why are we laughing? I was trying to sell it.
I'm just thinking back to all the red I saw right before Matt Rule got fired when, teams like the 49ers and even the Arizona Cardinals came into town.
They just knew he was going to Nebraska.
Yeah, of course. He drafted Chuba Hubbard, so we owe him.
They did. All right, his name has already come up. Daniel Jones was released by the Giants. Nobody's going to claim him because nobody wants to claim even the last 2 years of that contract. So when the waiver claims are over, Pat, would you sign Daniel Jones?
No. This is like being in the movie Inception. You're in a nightmare and you're in a dream. You're trying to figure out if it's real, and then you wake up, and then you're still in it again. Because going from Bryce Young to Daniel Jones is just a recurring nightmare. Like when they played the Giants in Germany, my take on that game was like, you're looking in the mirror here. If you stick with Bryce Young, even with the incremental development that he's making, you're looking at your next 6 years as the New York Giants. And I knew years ago, I think a lot of us did, you could see there was a glimmer of hope with Daniel Jones. He made the playoffs, but anybody who watched football knew he wasn't the guy, was never going to be the guy. And here we are. They've wasted 6 years and a lot of great players and maybe another coach on the roster. So bringing in Daniel Jones would just be too much insult to injury, I think, for this fan base to take.
Real quick, before I ask Randy to answer that, Bryce Young and Daniel Jones looking in the mirror. Bryce is standing on a milk crate, right?
Yeah, at least, looking up at Daniel Jones. I guess Bryce Young, he does a better look on the sidelines than Daniel Jones. That's never done him any favors.
Well, that's a New York Giant thing. Eli Manning had resting derp face for his entire career. Randy, I'm going to shape the question a little differently about Daniel Jones, because if it were me, I have no interest in Daniel Jones as a starting quarterback. I never thought he was starting quarterback material, even at Duke. I do think he could be a fantastic backup, a fantastic number two. He's decent at best at throwing the ball, but because of his athleticism, he can get you out of games, and even in a one-off start, you might be able to create an offense that will work for him. I actually like him as a career backup as opposed to being a starter. Would you approach that with Daniel Jones?
See, I thought you were leading me into could he play in the secondary for the Panthers, because we've seen that now he can apparently be a scout team safety on the back end using his athleticism there. No, I think if he's going anywhere as a backup, it's probably going to be somewhere where they like to use athletic quarterbacks. Maybe he could be the backup in Philadelphia or something like that. If I'm Carolina, you don't need to go after Daniel Jones right now. Maybe in the offseason. But again, being a good backup quarterback in the NFL is like being a good congressman. You just don't have to really do anything. Don't really step out one way or the other. Just kind of be there and make a career out of it. Right now, I don't know if Daniel Jones can be that guy as a backup quarterback.
All right, all good answers. All right, do we all agree that the statistical data from this season and even last season notwithstanding, let's just start from a working proposition that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. Do we agree?
The numbers would disagree right now. But
well, yeah, like I said,
the
numbers this year, the numbers last year do not back up Patrick Mahomes as the best quarterback in the league. A Super Bowl did. It's not, one guy doesn't win a Super Bowl. But, all right, well, it does sound like there's some gray area, so I'll just ask the question this way. Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, Randy?
To me, this is easy. To me, it's Josh Allen. Lamar, if we're talking about quarterbacks, you mentioned Patrick Mahomes being maybe the best guy in the league, and a lot of that's doing with winning. Lamar's lost some dumb games this year, losing to Cleveland, losing to the Raiders. as good as he's looked statistically, and he's looked very good. This is by far the best supporting cast he's ever had. He's never had a guy like Derrick Henry in the backfield with him. So, again, looking great, but he's getting a lot of help. We're seeing Josh Allen do it with less and less people. You know, he loses his big-time target, and he continues to play pretty well outside of the Houston game. I think he's maybe, if we're talking MVP this year, I think he's going to be the guy.
Pat?
I think both of these guys are in a position similar to where, like, Drew Brees and Peyton Manning were to Tom Brady, where they hadn't won the Super Bowl yet, but once they do, it completely changes the way we look at them forever. And in Lamar's defense, I think he's evolving into something right now that we've never seen before. I mean, I was watching the Steelers game, and he had an incompletion that was one of the most spectacular plays I've ever seen in my entire life. The way he's buying time right now is something that you just don't see. And I think it's a little bit of a dance with the devil where, you know, how long can you bet on that kind of improvisation in the playoffs? And that's what's hurt him in the big moments. But I think if the Ravens defense can get together, if you took that out of the equation, Lamar will be running away with this right now with the offense he's put up this season.
Yeah, I think here's what's funny to me is that it really depends on which game was just played and which quarterback played well. Because literally, if you made a list of how many times people said Lamar Jackson's the best quarterback in the league, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the league, it would be even. And it would be like we've seen that 8 times already on one side and 8 times already on the other because they take turns, it seems, doing ridiculous.
By the way,
I think they're the same quarterback.
Evan McPherson makes his kicks, then Joe Burrow is the MVP, if we're being honest here.
You're such a honk.
Joe Burrow might not even make the playoffs.
You are such a honk.
I know.
But no, I love.
Okay.
All right, so You are more than welcome as the Cincinnati Bengals fan in this conversation, Randy. You are more than welcome. And actually, I don't know who Pat's allegiances lie. The wand chooses the wizard. So, Pat, are you a fan of any NFL team specifically?
I'm a Steelers fan.
Okay.
Growing up. But at this point, I mean, I still buy the Ravens in that division, even after that game. Like what you said, we're prisoners of the moment of what we just saw.
I agree.
And I think I've seen enough from Lamar to have a little bit of faith that he can take the next step in the playoffs this year. And it's similar with Allen, too. Like, they keep getting, it's tough when you have to go through Patrick Mahomes' road every year.
Yeah, well, that all roads go through Kansas City, even if they're on the road, but they will not be. They'll be at home this year, I'm pretty sure of it. But here's my statement about Joe Burrow. He is not the game-changing quarterback that we want him to be. He is a great quarterback, but he will not be great unless he has great receivers. He will not turn average. He will not be Aaron Rodgers, who will turn Jordy Nelson into like nearly a multi-millionaire. He won't do that. He won't turn those receivers into great receivers. But if he's got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, he is awesome, better than everybody else.
He hasn't had both of them most of this season. He's only had one or the other, and they've won with one or the other this year.
So he needs one of them.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out this year they're going to lose one, and then in 2 years they're going to lose the other guy if they can't pay him. And we'll find out. Right now he still had those guys, similar to how Mahomes early on had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And then he won without those. Well, he won with the corpse of Kelce. And
That's
no
right.
Hill.
That's right. He's won Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill. He doesn't need great receivers. By the way, that's a lot of that is Andy Reid's play design, right? A lot of it is Andy Reid's play design. Where, hey, why is that player wide open and nobody is even in the camera for like 4 seconds? How does that even happen? And that, of course, is having the best head coach in the National Football League right now, and that is Andy Reid. And do we have any disagreement on that statement? No.
Wow.
We'll just.
I'm good with that.
No, I don't think so.
He is the best. All right, I'll get back to the NFL if we have time. But let's just, because I know you guys are both huge Hurricanes fans. So, look, there's really no complaints at 14-5-0. But there's a long-term injury right now to Frederick Anderson. So, Pat, should the Hurricanes right now be on the phone about a goaltender? And if so, I don't need a name. I need a type.
Well, I mean, in a way you could say, do they have the type already? I mean, they had Spencer Martin in place because injuries are kind of built into the equation when you have Freddie Anderson
right.
and you have a second year, not second year, but he was considered a rookie last year in Pyotr Kochetkov. But I think the difference, what we have now is, like, they've already been through this, right? Like, last year, Freddie was out with the blood clot issue, and that was one that you didn't even know, like, a timetable on because it was more of a health issue than an injury issue. And at least this with the lower body, with Freddie, that you could kind of apply modern and previous, medical science to it. And I think this is an opportunity. Now, of course, you got to be on the phone. You got to be looking for a backup to the backup. And Martin is, other than the shutout, has given up 4 goals in every game he's played, which is not a promising sign. But I think, the difference in this year to last year is that Pyotr has taken a step forward. And I think for this team to reach its ceiling, he needs to take another further step. And this is an opportunity. This is a moment to let him kind of show that he could be the guy in the playoffs. And it also could be an advantage because if he shows that he can't be, then you can be aggressive at the real trade deadline to maybe bring in a true veteran.
Randy, I know how big a hockey fan you are. You have Walt Ruff on your show all the time. So should the Hurricanes be on the phone for a goalie?
Look, man, if you're worried about your backup goalie right now and that's the only thing of need for a team, you're doing pretty good right now in the hockey season. I don't think it's a concern right now. We'll see what Freddie Anderson's going to look like, if he can come back, and what he's going to look like late this year. But, again, you need 2 goalies in the postseason. When I was in Pittsburgh, they had Fleury and Murray, and there was the dueling chance that was hilarious. Again, if you're worried about the backup goalie right now, things are going pretty good, and we can look at that later, bringing in a veteran. But I don't think it's that big of a concern right now. That's where we all part company, because I think it's an issue, and we're really thinking about, at best, the third goalie. We're not even you might want to find a goalie who might even slot in front of Spencer Martin, but Frederick Anderson will come back at some point, and maybe he comes back and he looks like the Freddie Anderson who played his last 10 games of the regular season a year ago, which was Vezina-like. I mean, he was amazing. He essentially took the job of playoff goaltender from Pyotr Kochetkov with the way he played in his last 10 starts. Kochetkov was good, but Anderson was amazing. So he basically stole the job back. Kochetkov has 2.5 months, maybe, to really put his hands around this job. I don't think he's done it yet, personally. I think he has been okay. I don't think he has been great. I think there have been too many bad nights. And I think the head coach believes the same thing. That is Pat Welter and Randy Slack. Pat from WRAL TV5. He is handsome. Randy Slack, also handsome. From ESPN Wilmington.
And Adam, I should say, I got a podcast in the works now. You guys got me moving. We're working on it behind the scenes here at WRAL, and I want to promote real quick. We got the Canes on our air on WRAL Monday and Friday.
That's right. That's right. Yep. How do we celebrate this on Monday?
By watching WRAL. And
no, we got to. All right, you're gonna have to come on and celebrate with me.
Of course.
All right, I'll bug you Monday.
If I can promote, I have a comedy show at the Salty Hog. I'm headlining tomorrow night. Very excited. In Sneed's Ferry. Tickets are just $10. Also, on our TV station, WILT Channel 10 in Wilmington, we are also showing the Carolina Hurricanes game.
Look at this. Look at this. And you could tell all of your Joe Burrow is the MVP jokes at your comedy show tonight.
Are we done or no?
Yep. Thank you, Randy Slack and Pat Welter. That was fun. Appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Walk it off. See ya.
Oh, man. He is such a Bengals fan. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you should be.
I kind of miss it.
What's
I miss being a fan of a team. Well, I have other interests. I'm a Mets fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Hurricanes fan.
Hasn't been the greatest time being a Panther fan, but we try.
I'm a Liverpool. I've been fans of bad teams. That's okay too.
Yeah, it is. It just hurts.
It makes the winning,
that
if it
sweeter.
ever happens,
yeah,
all that sweeter.
It's very foreign.